key learning. Learned a lot about the culture and history of China and ancestry and how extremely in depth it is and how far back it goes, and also how much pride they have in it and how aware they are. I mean, they know the dates and the names and the places and everything off by heart, which is incredible. And it's quite a precious history, and they really preserved it, considering where we're standing now is where Confucius lived, which was 2,500 years ago that he died, and this place looks, great. So that's amazing. And my everlasting memory is probably when we were driving towards the Great Wall and just saw it snaking over the mountains, and this amazing piece of architecture, and it was just amazing, absolutely fascinating. So that's probably my everlasting memory.
Lasting memory about China. I think the thing I remember the most about China is how the culture is so different, how there's such a difference between the poverty and then the richness. Like there'll be extremely rich shops and banks next to extremely poor people. But I think as a group, the biggest group thing we did last time, I remember building the catapults and shanking world, because it was a brilliant group activity where we all really bonded and worked together.
Okay.
The next point.
What about being part of a group? Have you learned anything about yourself as part of a group?
I've learned, actually, it's been quite interesting as the week's gone on. I've got more comfortable, being more myself. So this is quite an interesting experience, really.
I think it's definitely a fantastic place. It's very diverse and very different from where you go to different places. But I think in conclusion, the people here are really fantastic, and I really enjoy it.
Okay. And what have you learnt about China?
That it's definitely a developing country, so the poor areas are being improved, and it's not. And even in the poor areas, they seem to be quite happy with what they have. It's not. Even though they know what they could have, it doesn't seem to bother them having it. For them, it's considered something different. It's considered a luxury, which a lot of them don't seem to want anyhow. So it's interesting getting their viewpoint on it, actually.
What about yourself as part of the group?
I think I'm groupie. I think I count as a groupie. Yeah. I think that coming here, if it was any other place where we were more used to the area and what we were doing, I don't think we would be as close, because of the fact that we are relying on each other a bit more.
The thing I've learnt about China is I've learnt a lot about the Ming and Qing dynasty and all the emperors, and the best thing I've seen and done so far that's memorable would be the Great Wall of China. It's just amazing.
Have you learnt about yourself in the group at all?
I've learnt a lot about other members of the group, and with myself it would probably be that I don't like Chinese food that much.
Okay. The main thing I've learned is the status of China, where how people of higher status are more privileged and get more thing, whereas in England it's more equal and we don't have different rights and stuff.
My everlasting memory of China is probably first day walking on the Great Wall, and it really did hit then. This is China. So many people have walked on this wall, it's ridiculous. So yeah, there's that. What I've learnt about China is that it's not the evil autocratic super state that everyone thinks it is. It's not. You see hardly any policemen. You see probably more policemen in France than you do in China, and it's just not what I thought it would be. And you speak to the students and they're free to talk. It's not like they're restricted. A few things are sort of, a bit iffy, but it sounds like everyone's happy with what they've got rather than what the West portrays it as. Things I've learned about myself as a team is, I don't know, I think I can be, I can't usually just go with the flow. I need to know every single detail that's going on, and here you just gotta let it be, see what's happening, and just be surprised sometimes, which is a good thing.
The memory of China would have to be the architecture and just the immense size of the Forbidden City and the sheer number of temples I've got here and the reverence they have for their gods of many descriptions. What I learned about China was they actually have quite an understanding amongst students anyway. They actually have an understanding of the world outside of China, and the way that they see China in the world now, and the disappointment they have with the West for treating them the way they do over Tibet and Taiwan or North Korea or whatever it may be, or their supposed lack of human rights, and the working within the group, as was discussed with George yesterday, the you have different tolerance levels for other people. You have to extend those tolerance boundaries. I think I've achieved that with certain members of the group. Yeah.
My lasting memory of China would be the amazing, friendly welcome we've had from the Chinese people, and the fact that they seem to be as amazed by us as we are of them and their culture, and hence the many photos. But of myself, I've learnt that I can get on with people from all walks of life, and we can be, I think I've made some lifelong friends here, and I can do anything.
I was quite shocked between inner city living and when you get on a train and go outside of the city, what it's like for people in rural communities, but also like religion and the philosophy of China as well. I find quite interesting.
Okay, what have I learnt about China? I suppose I've learnt a lot more about the Chinese way of life and how they hold themselves, and a lot more about what they believe and how they perceive the world, which is one of the things I was really keen to learn about. Sort of the internal politics of China and how they view things and how they view themselves. So I'm really pleased I've learnt that. I've really struggled with the food actually. Over the last couple of days, it's been particularly challenging. Breakfast, eating rice, and chips. Yes. And I'm not sure I've learnt about myself. I suppose with personal boundaries and that kind of thing. It's been very interesting and thoroughly worthwhile, I think.